Well, whatever President Obama is, he's not our education president. Here are the dismal results of the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development's global test, quite a mouthful, isn't it, of 15-year-olds in countries and large economies around the world. In mathematics, there is no surprise. Shanghai, China's largest city, ranking first, followed by Singapore, Hong Kong, Taiwan, South Korea. Oh, yes, here we are. We are 26 on this list, the OECD's 34 jurisdictions. And in reading a little bit of an improvement, Shanghai, here we go again. Shanghai ranks first, followed by Hong Kong, Singapore, South Korea. The United States, well, we did, as I said, a little better. We're 17th there. That's pretty good. Puts us in the middle. Shanghai ranks first again, followed by Hong Kong, Singapore, and Japan in science. The United States, well, we're better at science than we are at math, anyway. The fact of the matter is we're 21st. There is just no good news. I was trying to think of a way to make you feel better about that, but that isn't going to happen. It's hard to believe that American exceptionalism continues into the next generation with test results like these, raising the question, does it? Joining us now, veteran political consultant Hank Scheinkoff, National Review columnist John Fund, Fox News legal analyst Lise Wheel. We look at these numbers, and this is a country, we're now in the 5th year of this presidency, and this is a man who talked about education for all Americans, and this is what we're looking at. Your reaction?
He was the education president. That's how he portrayed himself from the very beginning.
At least compared to John McCain,
right,
apparently.
Exactly. And don't we always tell our kids, I mean, I've got 2 kids, one in college and one on the way, that education is the ticket in this country. Education is your ticket to prosperity, happiness, and all of those things. This kind of reading that we're getting today is completely discouraging and against all of that.
And we look in Washington, D.C. and the way this administration has performed. The way the bureaucracy, and let's look at it as in a bipartisan manner. The fact is that the Medicaid and Medicare centers cannot carry out a mission. They don't have the expertise to build a website, for crying out loud, and still took on the responsibility. We have a dysfunctional government and dysfunctional political leadership right now.
And it's not as if we aren't spending more on education. We are plowing billions more into education than we have in the past. The biggest difference between when I went to high school and today, Lou, because I speak at a lot of high schools, we used to spend a lot more time in high school on math, on reading, on science. Now, it's a lot of environmental issues, it's a lot of social adjustment, it's learning the history of gay people, which is fine, but it's priorities.
Racial and ethnic history.
Racial and ethnic history.
Right.
No, so at
Not
some
the core.
point,
This is the core.
This is the core, and we're losing sight of the core. We're taking our eye off the ball.
Reading, writing.
And arithmetic.
Science and mathematics. Right. I mean, we're crying out. By the way, I'm one of those guys who over the course of my career has had an opportunity to spend a lot of time in high schools around the country. And you know one of the things I found, John? I found that going into the school and looking in that trophy case, and I'd see trophies for football, for wrestling, you name it, basketball. I don't see trophies for science, for reading, for writing, exposition, for mathematics.
Well,
and that's what we're celebrating. Sports, but not academics. We're going to have to be back. Hank, go ahead real quick before we take.
We're not incentivizing our children to do the things they're supposed to do. In fact, we're disincentivizing them, and this country will pay the price for it.
I think we already are, and I think that's glaringly obvious. We're coming right back with the A-Team. Join the debate at home. Take a minute to check us out. LouDobbs.com for links to our Facebook page, our Twitter account. LouDobbs.com. Go to Twitter. Lou Dobbs News. Up next, the House Oversight Committee accusing one government agency of stonewalling for another that's been stonewalling in the IRS targeting scandal. We'll have that for you next. We're coming right back.
Kind of a Zen garden putting green.
This store knows how to handle a Saturday crowd. The parking lot helps by letting us know who's coming.
Good to see you again.
The carts keep everyone on the right track. The power tools introduce themselves.
Like that.
All the bit